8 p.m. in Banjul, and this is the Gambia Radio and Television Services broadcasting for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. Coming up in the news. The 6th ECOWAS Extraordinary Summit of Heads of State and Governments on Security and Political Situation in Mali, Guinea, and Burkina Faso takes place in the Ghanaian capital, Accra. Enhancing business opportunities, the Minister of Fisheries presides over inauguration of multi-million-dollar facility called Tunkara Plaza along the Bundong Highway. Plus, National Council for Civic Education holds a day-long peace-building synergy for local authorities in the Lower River region. And in internationals, large wildfire damages homes near Athens, evokes memories of last year's devastation. Well, those are the headlines and much more coming ahead with me, Rohibite. Do stay with us. It's great to have you here. We begin this bulletin with the 6th Extraordinary Summit of ECOWAS Heads of State and Government meeting in the Ghanaian capital, Accra, where leaders continue to discuss on security and political matters in the region. Top among the discussion of the summit was the current political and security situation in Mali, Guinea, and Burkina Faso, following repeated attempts to convince military leaders to return to constitutional rule. JRT's Mamadou Jallo filed in this report from Accra, Ghana.
This is Jubilee House, the seat of the Ghanaian presidency, where leaders from the 14 sub-regional ECOWAS bloc met for the 6th Extraordinary Summit of the Authority of Heads of State and Government. It is the third such gathering of leaders to discuss the security and political situations in Mali, Guinea, and Burkina Faso, three countries where the military overthrew the democratically elected governments. Despite repeated attempts to pressure a return to constitutional order, the situation in the three West African countries remained deadlocked, with the regimes instituting their own transitional timetables, much to the chagrin of ECOWAS. This summit, according to the ECOWAS chair, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo of Ghana, will continue to focus on finding a breakthrough to end the crisis in the three countries.
This meeting will continue to focus on the political instability in our region, with the resurgence of coup d'etat since August 2020, and hopefully find some lasting solutions to this resurgence. In dealing with these unfortunate matters, our objective has always been to find ways to help those countries return to constitutional order. This will allow them to deal better with the security and humanitarian challenges they're facing. This present summit will re-examine and assess the situation in Mali, Guinea, and Burkina Faso in light of recent developments within the regional and global contexts which affect our countries.
ECOWAS will seek to maintain a united front to their opposition to any forms of unconstitutional changes of government in West Africa, whilst also keeping the door open for a negotiated settlement to the crisis, which the ECOWAS chair, President Akufo-Addo, said risks further aggravating the already difficult security situation in the Sahel region. A final communique issued at the end of the summit upheld the suspension of the three countries from the ECOWAS bloc, whilst calling for shorter transitional timetables for a return to democracy. Additionally, mediators were appointed to spearhead the mediation efforts as a means to keep diplomacy open between ECOWAS and the military authorities in Guinea and Burkina Faso. The leaders finally resolved to convene another extraordinary summit in July to assess progress and compliance. Mamadou Jallo, JRTS News.
Still on the summit, at the end of the regional convergence, the extraordinary session released the final communique on the outcome of the meeting. We have more on the full content of the communique read in our studios by JRTS's Fatu Elika Molushi.
The Authority of Heads of State and Government of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, convened an extraordinary session in Accra, Republic of Ghana, on 4th June 2022, under the chairmanship of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana and Chair of the ECOWAS Authority. The extraordinary summit was convened to review the recent political developments in Mali, Guinea, and Burkina Faso since the last extraordinary summit held on 25th March 2022 in Accra. Present at the summit were the underlisted ECOWAS heads of state and government or their duly mandated representatives. His Excellency Patrice Talon, President of the Republic of Benin, His Excellency Alassane Ouattara, President of the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire, His Excellency Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Umaru Sissoco Embalo, President of the Republic of Guinea-Bissau, His Excellency George Weah, President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Mohamed Bazoum, President of the Republic of Niger, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Macky Sall, President of the Republic of Senegal, His Excellency Faure Ezozimang Nasingbe, President of the Togolese Republic, His Excellency Belamino Monteiro Silva, Ambassador of Cabo Verde to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Frances Virginia Anderson, High Commissioner of the Republic of Sierra Leone to Ghana. The summit was also attended by His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, ECOWAS mediator for Mali, former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Musa Faki Mohammed, President of the African Union Commission, Mr. Jean-Claude Kassi Brou, President of the ECOWAS Commission, Mr. Abdoulaye Diop, President of the UEMOA Commission, Mr. Mohamed Saleh Anadif, Special Representative of the United Nations Secretary-General for West Africa and the Sahel, or UNOAS, Mr. El Gassim Wan, Special Representative of the United Nations Secretary-General in Mali, Head of MINUSMA. The heads of state and government considered the report presented by His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan on the situation in Mali and the reports of the ECOWAS assessment mission to Burkina Faso and on the situation in Guinea presented by Honorable Albert Kandapa, Minister of National Security of the Republic of Ghana, representing His Excellency Shirley Ayoko Buchwe, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration of the Republic of Ghana, Chair of the ECOWAS Council of Ministers. The authority has also considered the memorandum presented by the President of the Commission on the deployment of the support mission for the stabilization in Guinea-Bissau and on the financial situation of the missions. The authority commends the quality of the documents presented and takes note of the recommendations contained herein. On Burkina Faso, on the security front, the authority takes note of the efforts made by Burkina Faso despite its numerous challenges in recovering some localities, thus leading to the return of some of the internally displaced persons and the reopening of some schools. In this regard, the authority encourages the transition authorities to sustain the momentum towards further enhancing security in the country. On the humanitarian front, the authority expresses serious concern about the deteriorating humanitarian situation compared to the situation noted by the previous ECOWAS mission in the country in April 2022. It calls on the international community to strengthen its humanitarian support to Burkina Faso. The authority welcomes the decision to allow former President Kabore to return to his home and insists that he be given full freedom. The authority reiterates its concern about the duration of the transition period, set at 36 months by the Burkinabe authorities, as stated in its communique issued on 25th March 2022. Consequently, and in accordance with the decision of the extraordinary summit held on 3rd February 2022, the authority A. reiterates its strong condemnation of the coup d'etat of 24 January 2022. B. Decides to uphold the suspension of Burkina Faso from all ECOWAS institutions until constitutional order is restored. C. demands the finalization of an acceptable transition timetable. D. Takes note of the correspondence of 31 May 2022 from the transition authorities stating their willingness and commitment to continue dialogue with ECOWAS to ensure a return to constitutional order as soon as possible. E. Decides, in line with this commitment, to continue the discussions with the authorities on the transition with a view to reaching an agreement. The authority decides to examine the situation in Burkina Faso at its next ordinary summit on July 3, 2022. Furthermore, the authority decides to appoint His Excellency Mahamadou Issoufou, former President of the Republic of Niger, as ECOWAS mediator for Burkina Faso to facilitate dialogue among all stakeholders. On Guinea, the authority expresses serious concern over the deteriorating socio-political situation, notably due to the lack of an appropriate dialogue framework between the government and the political stakeholders and civil society actors. The authority is also concerned about the length of the 36-month transition period announced by the transition authorities. Consequently, the authority, A, demands the finalization of an acceptable transition timetable. B, urges the government to establish an appropriate framework for dialogue with political and civil society stakeholders in order to ease the socio-political tension and ensure a peaceful transition. C, recommends the continuation of the discussions on these two items. D, confirms the designation of His Excellency Mohamed Ibn Chambers as ECOWAS mediator in Guinea. And E, call upon the government to respect the human rights of all Guinean citizens and to desist from any arbitrary act that undermine the rule of law in Guinea. The authority decides to examine the situation in Guinea at its next ordinary summit on July 3, 2022. On Mali, the authority commends the efforts made by the ECOWAS mediator with a view to reaching an acceptable timetable to ensure a quick return to constitutional order in accordance with the ECOWAS and African Union protocols and decisions. The authority decides to ask the mediator to Mali to continue his efforts and to finalize the discussions with the transition authorities. Accordingly, the authority decides to A, uphold the sanctions imposed on 9th January 2022. B, continue the dialogue with a view to reaching an agreement to ensure a gradual lifting of the sanctions as benchmarks of the transition are met. C, call on partners to increase their humanitarian support to Mali. The authority decides to examine the situation in Mali at its next ordinary summit on July 3, 2022. On the stabilization support mission in Guinea-Bissau and on the financial situation of the stabilization missions, the authority takes note of the Commission's report on the deployment of the mission in Guinea-Bissau with a view to ensuring the stability of the country. It expresses gratitude to the troop contributing countries TCC for their support and takes note of the financial situation of the stabilization missions. The heads of state and government expressed deep appreciation to His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana and Chair of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, for his leadership in ensuring the success of the summit. Dawn in Accra, this 4th day of June 2022, the authority.
And away from that, the Minister of Fisheries has presided over the inauguration of Tunkara Plaza along the Bundung Highway. The multi-million-dollar facility, with a capacity of 60 stalls and toilet facilities, is meant to enhance business opportunities for Gambians and residents in the country. Yusuf Bojang reports.
In his remarks, the Minister of Fisheries, Honorable Musa Drame, said the structure will go a long way in providing employment opportunities to young people, noting that the government of the Gambia has created an enabling environment for business in the Gambia.
The first impression I had when I approached the building was that of the Passé Central Market, which was constructed by the central government of the Gambia. It is almost the same structure, but although the space is different, but the structures are almost the same. And I encourage my fellow Salahulis who are abroad to emulate what Tunkara has done in Serakunda. And in addition to that, I also pleaded with him particularly those who manage the facility in his absence, to go by the law and go straight to the rent tribunal in the KMC and register the facility.
He acknowledged that the public and the private sector contribute significantly in the development of the economy of the country. Honorable Bileji Tunkara thanked the investor for coming up with what he described an iconic building that will provide employment opportunities for the people of the Gambia. He called on local authorities to support the investor as it will boost revenue generation for the council.
Someone who has love for his country, love for his nation, come down to his country to invest this massive edifice, we deem it fit as representative of his constituency to inform the municipality, to give him adequate support, to also reiterate the same information to the government, to give him maximum support and protection so that this investment wouldn't be in vain.
He used the opportunity to advise people who will occupy the stalls to comply with regulations governing the operation of the business. The facility is built by Haji Tunkara, a native of Garawal, based in Angola. The ceremony was attended by the Secretary to Cabinet, Ibrahim Sise, family members, friends, and well-wishers. Yusuf Bojang, GRTS News.
Rotarians in the Gambia have gathered to celebrate the 96th birthday of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The gathering also reflected on Her Majesty's 70 years service to the people of the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth nations. Yasin Jiba picks up the rest of that story.
The lightening of the beacon is used as a symbol for promoting peace. The Rotarians' role in giving services to humanity, maintaining good relationships, and strengthening the process of good governance for their involvement in the Queen's Jubilee.
We even have a vision statement. Together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and within ourselves.
In his statement connecting the Rotarians' role in the Queen's Jubilee celebration, the British High Commissioner to the Gambia, His Excellency David Belcroft, highlighted the significance of the Queen's Jubilee celebration and commended the Rotarians' selfless services to humanity.
That the Rotary Club should be leading the Platinum Jubilee Beacon celebrations. The Rotary Club's motto, service above self, very much encompasses what Her Majesty the Queen represents and sets an example to us all.
Dr. Sow, retired president, Banjul Rotarians, explained how the Gambian chapter was formed and how they impacted on the lives of the people.
One very significant project which I must mention was the water project, which was sponsored by WaterAid in the UK and some Rotary clubs in the UK, and the Rotary Club of Banjul was responsible for the local expenditures. And that particular project is about the most expensive project that we've had for 30 years.
PAG Fatuba said they will continue to promote communication and collaborate with people of the world to promote peace.
As Rotarians, we envision a global surge in local efforts to promote positive peace with involvement of Rotarians throughout the world. This is reflected in Rotary International current vision, and I quote, "Together we see a world where people unite and take action to create long-lasting change across the globe in our communities and in ourselves." Unquote. We are people of action, and today we hope to strengthen our commitment to peace by communicating, collaborating, and celebrating with the world within our communities, among ourselves.
The Rotarians, in their quest to promote peace, will continue to give their services to the people of the world. For the news, this is Yasin Jiba.
To the Lower River region now, where the National Council for Civic Education recently organized a day-long synergy for local authorities. The forum held in Wellingaraba with support from UNICEF and the UN Peace Building is meant to enhance the capacity of the authorities on how to analyze critical issues emerging from community engagement and early warning systems at grassroots level. Our regional correspondent, Usman Balde, has the details of that development.
On the theme, inclusive approaches to early warning system, addressing emerging peace and security challenges at grassroots level. The convergence is part of 9 face-to-face reflection sessions held in Upper Central and Lower River region. The activity targeted over 100 participants, including youth, women, chiefs, and alcalolus, among others. Speaking at the forum, the program manager, National Council for Civic Education, Yusuf Bojang, said the country has registered significant improvement in its democracy.
The Gambia has made great gains in the consolidation of democracy since the removal of an authoritarian rule 5 years ago. However, this transitioning has presented new challenges, such as widespread polarization characterized by use of abusive language, hate speech, misinformation, provocation, and intimidation and confrontation in public discourse. Overcoming these challenges to place the country in a strong and stable democratic trajectory requires inclusive and collective effort by all and sundry. Hence the reason for this gathering today to discuss and critically diagnose and analyze challenges and threats to peace and security through community early warning mechanisms.
Marcus Angala from UNICEF advised community members, particularly women and youths, to participate meaningfully in peace-building initiatives in the country.
We have to take inclusive approaches. And by inclusive, it means that as we engage in these conversations, that we need to include all the diverse groups. Let's have a conversation with young people in these communities. They need to be involved. Engage women as well as community leaders to ensure that we have all the relevant stakeholders on the table. But as we move forward, let's also not forget issues of persons with disabilities, as they also play a vital role in this area.
The Chief of Jara East and Sumana Kanaji and Lady Councilor Representative Mariama Sabali both thanked the organizers for the initiative, saying it will contribute to the promotion of sustainable peace and stability in their communities. Organizers are hopeful that the sessions will enhance class resolve measures and peaceful coexistence within communities. Usman Balde.
Meanwhile, the Public Health Service Directorate under the Ministry of Health installed a multi-million incinerator which will serve as medical waste treatment plant at Yoruba Wall village in Woolwes. Our URR correspondent, Saidu Kamara, has the rest of the story.
This machine is an incinerator that is set to reduce the issue of unkept medical waste at health facilities. It is a holistic approach in solving the problem of healthcare waste issues in the country. The Director of Public Health Services, Dr. Bua Manyan, said they are conducting the curing of the incinerators and training of health personnel who are set to operate these machines across the country.
This is the first time we have these types of incinerators in the country to be able to take care of healthcare waste in all our health facilities in this country. This is going to solve all the healthcare problems in this country. We have backloads of safety boxes, and these safety boxes are filled with needle and syringes that we use to inject people, to vaccinate people, those who visit healthcare services. So we have them packed, but these need to be properly taken care of.
Health staff who will be in charge of the operational function of these machines were shown how the incinerator operates. Dr. Manyan further explained that the primary function of the machines is to take care of healthcare waste issues, to protect their staff and other people who visit the health facilities from exposure to health hazard.
This is going to greatly help in terms of cleanliness of our environment, our health facilities. If you move around, we expect that we should not see empty needle and syringes disposed of, healthcare waste, lying all over the facility. Those are dangerous exposures to our people, to our staffs, and also if our staffs are exposed to this, it can cause other diseases like hepatitis and name them. Needle stick injuries causes all those things. So to avoid all that, we have to safely store our healthcare waste and also safely dispose them. This is one of the ways to properly dispose of these healthcare waste.
According to health officials in all the 7 regions in the country, these important incinerators will be installed to solve problems the Ministry of Health was facing in handling medical waste. The regional health director in the Upper River region, Ibrahim Balde, expressed joy and appreciation at the new development.
This is a dream come true. It has been a nightmare. We know we have been faced with a lot of challenges when it comes to healthcare waste management in this region. Virtually the incinerators that were within the region have not been functioning. So if we have this one just about to kickstart, that is a blessing in disguise. So we are happy. We are definitely very much okay with what we have seen for now. We hope and pray that this thing would last long. It would continue to solve our healthcare waste problems.
Director Barnes said the region has a volume of medical waste that needs to be incinerated, adding that having the machine in Yoruba will address those issues.
And you would understand that healthcare waste is among the most dangerous waste that one can generate in this country. So having those ones properly taken care of, definitely we are joyful today. When they look at it and they say that, okay, we have to go in for these containerized incinerators, they understood that there needs to be personnel that should be properly trained so that they understand the machine. Because the incinerators that we used to have were the locally built types. But this one is a machine, is a sophisticated one. People need to be trained to competency so that they can understand how to operate the machine.
Proper handling of medical waste has been a challenging issue for the Ministry of Health. However, the arrival of these machines, those issues are expected to be addressed. Saidu Kamara, reporting for GRTS News from Basse Upper River region.
With that, we take a quick break and be right back.
There's a new update from your favorite GSM operator, AfriCell.
For all of you that have struggled to buy cash power beyond $7,000, AfriCell has done it again. The limit to buy cash power is now up to $30,000. Oh yes, $30,000.
Buy all the cash power you want from your AfriMoney account by dialing *777#.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
It's an amazing offer. AfriMoney just got way better. The threshold for cash in and cash out on your AfriMoney has been increased.
Where it used to be $10,000 per transaction, now it has been increased to $30,000. Meaning your AfriMoney account, you can now withdraw and deposit up to $30,000 at once.
Cashing in and out just got 3 times easier. For more info, call 777.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
Well, viewers, that brings us to the end of this bulletin. But before we take a leave of you, let's quickly take a look at our top stories once again. The 6th ECOWAS Extraordinary Summit of Heads of State and Governments on Security and Political Situation in Mali, Guinea, and Burkina Faso takes place in the Ghanaian capital, Accra. Enhancing business opportunities, the Minister of Fisheries presides over inauguration of multi-million-dollar facility called Tunkara Plaza along the Bundung Highway. Plus, the National Council for Civic Education holds a day-long peace-building synergy for local authorities in the Lower River region. In the internationals, large wildfire damages homes near Athens, evokes memories of last year's devastation. Well, that's all we have for you in this hour. Thanks for the pleasure of your company. Do join us again at 2200 hours for more news and updates.
Hello, Sister Nya here, and today we are doing the unboxing of